Hey there, Delmarva. Happy Thursday. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the week, and not just any Thursday. Happy February 1st.
Ooh, I love February. I'm excited for it.
We are your hosts today. I'm Leah Rizzo, and joining me is Lauren Hitch with the Delmarva Home Show, filling in for Paige while she's enjoying the rest of the week off. So, Lauren, welcome back to Coast Life. It's been a while since we've seen you.
I love nothing more than coming up these stairs in this Milton studio and hanging out with you all up here. It's always such a fun vibe. We were talking about all the decorations out here that Lourdes has put out. It's absolutely beautiful. I love this little studio setup you guys have.
Well, we love having you. So maybe for our viewers who don't know, remind them a little bit about the Delmarva Home Show and where they can find you, because Lauren covers a lot of ground.
Yeah. There's always something that I'm dabbling in, right? So the Delmarva Home Show airs on WBOC on Sunday mornings at 11:30 in the morning. And what it is we work with local real estate agents or people that just think their homes are really cool and we should show them off. And we tour them front door to back door, and then it airs on TV. You can catch it online too.
That's awesome. They can also catch you on Outdoors Delmarva.
Yes, Outdoors Delmarva is so much fun. It's been such a fun thing that you get to go outside all the time and not be in the office. It's a great thing for work. So Jason and I have been up to a lot of fun things lately. We went on a couple duck hunts recently even. It's very freezing. But you got to get that footage. So it's been great. We took our son Riker hunting the other day, and I got some camera footage of it too. He is all about it too.
Good stuff. Well, we also like to start off Coast Life by talking about what you are talking about. And maybe you noticed this morning or at some point this afternoon, if you logged into TikTok, that you had a little notification that said some of your videos have been muted. Well, it's true. You're not alone. It looked like Universal and TikTok had a big disagreement. So certain artists, I know Taylor Swift was one of them, that anything that uses their music has been muted. And I can sort of see where the disagreement starts, because you've got so many things like AI that's mimicking artist voices, and maybe and Taylor Swift especially has been sort of in the spotlight revolving around AI. So I can see where maybe Universal and other record labels might want to protect their artists.
Right.
But on the flip side, I don't think it's going to stop. I think if anything, it might encourage AI creators and users to mimic artists' voices so that content creators can still have access to trends. I do agree with supporting your artists. I mean, obviously you've got those big pop stars on much bigger scales that don't really need the protection, but they represent a lot of what smaller artists don't have the backing to defend themselves with when it comes to big corporations taking over.
And Taylor Swift is so big right now. I feel like everyone's going to be searching for her songs.
It's true. It's true.
What a tragedy. What a TikTok tragedy.
Oh, the humanity. Something else I thought was kind of fun to talk about. We're diving a little bit deeper here on Coast Life today. As you get older, you learn a few new life lessons. But when you're a kid, I'm sure you hear "you'll understand when you're older" comment a lot. And you get all like, I want to understand now. I do understand now. But Lauren, what are maybe some things that you truly didn't understand until you got older?
I think for me, it's a lot of things about being a mom that my mom used to do that like irritated me. And I'm like, why, Mom, why are you doing that? And it would like make me so grumpy, right? And I get mad about it. And now I find myself doing those same things that like she did, like the way I'm like, oh my gosh, why are these dishes in the sink? Or certain things like that. And I'm like, and I get frustrated about it with my husband or my own kid. And I'm like, oh man, do I sound like my mom? Like, am I being my mom? But I understand now why she was that way, or why she even like, didn't let me go out with friends too much or protected me. It's not to be my friend. She didn't want to be my friend, right? It was more so like to be a mom figure.
Yes.
And now I understand that part, and then I instill those things in my own son. What about you?
I can completely understand that. And I think, when you're a teenager and your mom is like, you'll understand when you're older, and then you're like, no, Mom, you don't understand. And then like to be a mom, how badly you want to be like, if only you knew. But
right.
I just think there are some things that life doesn't prepare you for until you get older. I mean, I think just sort of seeing outside my own life experience is something that you learn as you get older. You just don't have a scale for reference. And I lived, a very close-knit life growing up. I had my friends that I grew up with and my family, and like that was sort of my social sphere. I didn't travel a lot. I never moved around a lot. I went to the same school my whole life. So like I had lived in a very small world. And then as soon as you like step out into the real world and you're like, oh gosh, there's danger out there, like you do learn, and you have a new launching point of either social spheres or, a struggle for money that maybe you never had growing up. My parents always had food on the table. And then when I set out, I was like, I'm going to eat pizza for a week, aren't I?
Yeah. Hamburger Helper's your best friend for a little bit.
That's right.
That's great. That's a good way to look at it, though, is kind of like looking back and learning about it though,
Yeah.
also too, in a way, like even being your own person now, those lessons,
Yes.
so you're thankful for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I know, we can sit here and talk about it, and I'm sure we've got older viewers that are like, if only you two knew. So there's always more learning, and I've always been a big believer that, like, as soon as you think you know it all, that's when you're in trouble, and you shut that brain off, and you're closed-minded, and that's, you're going to cut yourself off to learning those new lessons, and that's where I think you can sometimes get left behind a little bit.
For sure.
But another thing that we wanted to kind of talk about, I think Paige and I have talked about some of our irrational fears before, but we wanted to see if there's any that you have. Like, do you have a fear that, like, it scares you, but other people just don't understand it?
So I have a bad, like, claustrophobia feeling, and it's terrible. And everyone knows it. So some of my friends actually, and even my husband, they poke fun at it, right? It's like not nice, because I may punch or panic yes. From being claustrophobic. But certain things, like being in an elevator, like as soon as the door closes and it's not moving right away, I'm like, oh my gosh, being in a stuffed car, or even like, being in like just a tight area for a little too long. No.
I can get that. For me, like, going underground will sort of, like, I was part of an outdoors club in college, and they were like, we're going spelunking, and that's where you, like, go in the caves, like those little tight caves, and I was like, I will not be spelunking with all of you, thank you. But I think my most irrational one that people really don't understand is my fear of mascots.
Oh, okay.
Like the uncanny valley effect, like mascots, even sort of like Sesame Street, like Big Bird.
Okay.
Hard pass, but I think like Elmo I could chill with,
Elmo's
but Big
cool.
Bird he's too big, and I think it's the unmoving eyes, it's the uncanny valley.
No, do you think like if they're too close to you, like you would panic?
Yes, so I was at Hershey Park as a kid with my family, and I ran from the Hershey Kiss, and I was like, here, take my sister.
The Hershey Kiss.
Yeah, he just wanted a hug, but I was not having it.
Yeah.
Nope, no one's safe. We always love to hear from you. You can chime in on our socials. You can follow us Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We are there. We love to hear from you and participate in the show. We do have a great episode of Coast Life coming your way. Here's what's coming up.
Coming up today on Coast Life. Curious about the support available for homebound patients with heart health issues? Learn how specialized care is bringing vital services directly to their doorsteps. Excited for summer plans? Get the scoop on what to expect at the Delaware State Fair with a sneak peek at the lineup. And on today's hot topic, is it ever okay to use your phone during an emergency at a wedding? We're tackling this tricky situation and spilling the hottest tea. All that and more when Coast Life gets back.
Coast Life is brought to you by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and the Parker Group.
Coast Life February is here, the start of a new month, but not just any month. Heart Health Awareness Month. And to tell us a little bit more, our friends from Peninsula Home Care, Holly Jones and Brittany Banks, are joining us on the Coast Life couch. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. So tell us a little bit about Heart Health Awareness Month. I mean, what are maybe the things about heart health that people should be aware of?
Sure. So I think heart health is one of those things that you don't typically necessarily think about until it's affecting you directly.
Yes.
There is a large national and international population of folks who are dealing with heart health issues every day, whether it's congestive heart failure or what folks call AFib, heart attack, things like that. And there's a lot that goes into it, and home health is one of them.
Yes.
And we're really excited about some of the protocols that we're offering for our patients coming from their cardiologist, or maybe they are having something new that's come up and they are just coming out of the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that you guys really emphasize, and I mean, it's clear to me every time I talk to you guys how much you care about your patients and the folks that you take care of in the home. Now, Brittany, you are a nurse.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell us a little bit about the protocols that you have in place for those patients.
Yeah, so one of those protocols is, we call it the CH Watch protocol. So that is for patients that either have newly diagnosed heart failure or maybe they've had an exacerbation. They're having kind of a hard time controlling it. So we send our clinicians out there. We provide them with all of the equipment that they need, including a scale, blood pressure cuff, pulse ox, and educate them on what they need to do to manage their heart failure. Another protocol that we have is fairly new. It's the IV Lasix protocol, and we're really trying to get the knowledge out there about that. And that can either come from the cardiologist, it can come from the hospital. That's for patients that are having a hard time and they might not need an admission, but they need some IV Lasix in the home. And we have the ability to do that now, which is amazing for these patients.
Yeah, I mean, I know that America sort of in general, prevention isn't necessarily our best quality when it comes to healthcare. Taking those steps to not end up needing the aftercare necessarily. So what are maybe some of the signs that people need to go to the doctor, make sure that their heart health is in good shape? Or what are the signs maybe that, now that we're seeing those signs, you definitely need to get in?
No, that's a really good question, and that's part of the education that we're providing.
Yes.
If you notice swelling in your legs, if you notice you're more short of breath than normal, whether that be at rest or when you're exerting yourself, if you notice that you're having chest pain or maybe your blood pressure is higher than normal, those are all things to report to the provider that can all be signs of an underlying heart condition.
Yeah, for sure. So how can people get a hold of Peninsula Home Care if maybe they have a loved one that needs that home care and attention that maybe the other people in their lives aren't equipped to take care of? Because I mean, I also love that you guys are education focused. You kind of put that power and knowledge back in the hands of the patient so they feel like they know what they're responsible for when it comes to their own health.
So I think there's a couple different ways that our community can get in touch with Peninsula Home Care. First is give us a call directly. We are referral based and we do skilled home health, and that means that we're sending folks just like Brittany, RNs, out to the home. But most likely the best way for us to be able to work with our homebound patients in their home is that we receive that referral directly from either their primary care provider or we're partnering with their cardiologist. And then there are several instances where people haven't been proactive and they're having this exasperation of, they had the heart attack or they have that leg swelling like Brittany was talking about, and they are having a hard time breathing, so they go to the emergency department. Maybe they spend a few days in the hospital, maybe post the hospital they go to a short or a long-term rehab setting to be able to get a little bit stronger. In all of those cases, we're able to work with them and their family and then make a plan for them to get home.
Awesome. It's wonderful to be able to know that your loved ones are safe in their own home and taken care of in their own home. Well, Holly and Brittany, thank you so much for coming in with Peninsula Home Care. We love chatting with you guys. We know that you'll be back to keep us educated ourselves on whatever you guys have going on at any time, because there's always a lot of ground to cover. Yes. Coming up next, though, on Coast Life, we have a little bit more ground to cover. We are telling you about a little sneak peek at who's coming to the Delaware State Fair.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Peninsula Home Care.
Coast Life, I know it's cold now because we're in the middle of winter here, but before you know it, summer is going to be here, and it's not summer on Delmarva until the Delaware State Fair rolls into town. We know you're excited to see the musical acts that are going to be coming to the Delaware State Fair. So to tell us more, Carly Callahan is joining us on the Coast Life Couch. Carly, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So I've already heard some of the buzz and excitement, people who have been reading the lineup already.
Of course.
But do tell who's going to be coming to Harrington this year.
Well, we're going back in time the first day of fair on Thursday. Rick Springfield will be here.
Fun.
Yes, Jesse's girl.
Yes.
Jesse's girl. So that's exciting. We always try to kind of reach out to different demographics. So that being a rock, older demographic. And then next is John Party on July 19th, Friday. He is we're really excited about him.
I saw him at a different festival once. I didn't really know what to expect because I hadn't seen him live before. I had just heard his radio play, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, so we're excited about him, and he's going to be with Walker Montgomery, who's a new upcoming country artist. So we're excited about that. Saturday, Ludacris.
Yeah.
I'm hyped about that one.
Yes, we're really excited. Tickets for Ludacris have not gone on sale yet. They go on sale tomorrow. And then next on Sunday is Jordan Davis.
Okay.
I love him.
Yep, love him.
Davis.
By Dirt. Yep.
That's right.
And then on Monday we have Cooper Allen. And then Tuesday, We the Kingdom with The Bridge, followed by Brantley Gilbert, all-American country artist.
I've seen him before. He's
A lot
Yeah,
of people
great
excited
show.
for Brantley Gilbert.
Yes. And then Thursday and Friday are our usual days for the fair where we have harness racing and the demo derby. Yes. And then the last Saturday is still to be determined.
It's a secret.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely be checking back in with you when they make that final
Yes.
announcement of who's going to be coming to close out the fair. But it's always such a good family-friendly event, and it's always, we were talking about this, the most extreme weather you're ever going to meet. It'll be the hottest day, the rainiest day, both. But the demo derby is one of my favorite events. Like, I cannot stress this enough. In addition to all the wonderful concerts and shows that you guys have coming to Harrington this year, the demo derby is one that, like, I didn't expect to have as much fun as I did the first year I went, and it's the best.
Yeah, and there's so much to do at the fair. People don't think about it. There's a lot of even free things. I mean, as soon as you pay your gate pass to get in, there's so much to do, and so many young students that are there with like FFA showing off animals, and I mean, there's rides and anything you want fried ever in your life, you can get there.
Exactly.
So the State Fair it's so fun.
It's lots of entertainment between the sponsors and, like you said, livestock FFA. It's the best family summer place to go.
That's right. I mean, it truly celebrates all things that Delmarva really celebrates and holds near
It sure
and dear to
does.
our hearts. So, Carly, thank you so much for coming in and giving
Thank
us a little
you.
sneak peek, little crumb of what's coming to the Delaware State Fair this year. And like I said, I know we'll be checking back in with you when you make those final announcements, and I know we'll have you back as we get closer and closer to summer. But don't go anywhere. Coming up on Coast Life, I know we mentioned all the fun acts coming to the State Fair, but we're talking a little more music, a little more locally when we get back. Coast Life, today is the first day of February, which means we are kicking off Black History Month, and what better way to celebrate than with some musical performances, musical storytelling. So who is better to tell us about an upcoming event where you can celebrate than Colin Armstrong with the Southern Delaware Chorale. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Tell us, first of all, introduce us a little bit to the Southern Delaware Chorale, who you guys are, what you do, and then we'll dive into the event you have coming up.
Okay, great. Yeah, the Southern Delaware Chorale it's a community choir, so it's for any and all, and it's been around for in next year, 2025, we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary.
Wow.
Yes, the choir was originally founded by singing Handel's Messiah, and actually to celebrate in December 2025, we're going to do a performance of Handel's Messiah as a kind of look back and everything. So we have about between 60 and 70 singers.
Wow.
We rehearse in Georgetown. We're always looking for new singers, everybody. So you know, we after this concert's done, we'll be welcoming more for our spring concert.
You guys have a really incredible event coming up. I'm looking forward to this. Tell us about how you guys are celebrating Black History Month.
Well, the first event that was held was under the previous director, was in 2017. I was actually singing in the choir at the time, and that was a brief concert of spirituals. And in the ensuing years after I became the artistic director, we've sort of expanded the scope of the event. So now it's basically like a mini choral festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this will be February 24th. It's Saturday, 2 o'clock. And it takes place at Epworth United Methodist Church in Rehoboth Beach. And so there will be 4 choirs performing. The Southern Delaware Chorale, Cantabile Women's Chorus. They're based out of Milford and conducted by Joanne Ward.
Okay.
The Sussex Tech High School Bella Voce Ensemble. It's a treble choir, soprano, alto voices.
fun.
And that's conducted by Sarah Rose, who's actually the Southern Delaware Chorale's assistant conductor.
Ah.
And then finally, we've got, it's a new guest group coming, and it's the Sussex Community Gospel Mass Choir.
Fun.
And they're based out of Georgetown. Awesome. So it's going to be a real variety of music, and it's just about celebrating the huge contributions of Black composers and arrangers to the choral world.
Yeah, I mean, the way this is described, I mean, it's sort of called this choral, the tapestry.
It's a choral tapestry, yes.
And I just think that's really, really beautiful because, I mean, both choral music and tapestries are ways of telling stories. And I mean, that's such a big part of Black history is that vocal storytelling.
Right.
And I think this is just a really, really great way to honor that.
Yes, and you know the tapestry idea too. I mean, actually, in the past we had a quilt maker, and we're kind of trying to bring back some African American quilt makers because that's such a strong tradition as well. But it's that weaving together of communities, diverse communities that come together for a common goal.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the choir, anybody can join.
Yes.
How do people who are interested go about joining if they want to partake in the spring concert?
Well, so once we're done February 24th, then we do a third concert, concert, which is May 5th, and that's a totally different set of music. And so if someone wants to join, they go to southerndelawarechorale.org, and you will see a spot on the website for interested singers. It's a matter of coming basically the first Tuesday after February 24th, and you can just come to rehearsal, and we just do what I call a voice placement. It's not really an audition. Just want to make sure you can match pitch, you know, the very basics, that kind of thing. But southerndelawarechorale.org is also where to get tickets for our February 24th concert.
Perfect. All right, yes. One more time, let's hit that. The when, the where can people go to get information, tickets, and where to show up for the, for the performance?
So it's the event is Saturday, February 24th. It starts at 2 p.m. Probably will be done by 4:45, 5 o'clock is the latest it'll be finished. Tickets are $25. Website is southerndelawarechorale.org. The concert takes place at Epworth United Methodist Church, 19285 Holland Glade Road, Rehoboth Beach.
Yes, it's going to be an awesome event and a great way to celebrate Black History Month. Well, Colin, thank you so much for coming in with the Southern Delaware Chorale, but don't go anywhere. Coming up on Coast Life, we are going to take a trip to Benvenuto in Milford, so stay right there.
Seize the rare opportunity to own a piece of paradise at 104 Kimberly Way in Lewis, just 4 miles from the breathtaking Lewis beaches and no HOA fees. This splendid home crawls over nearly an acre, boosting 3,180 square feet of living space, including 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Highlights of this home include renovated oversized 2-car garage, turned into additional living space, a fully furnished porch with views of a peaceful background, complemented by 3 outbuildings and a vast potential for expansion. This week's Happy Place is brought to you by the Parker Group.
Coast Life, we've talked about how it can be hard to find some things to do sometimes in the off season, but also how you may be surprised at how much there is to do around here in the off season. You know what else is surprising? The surprise menu at Benvenuto for the Dining in the Dark event. To tell us more, Chef Zeus is joining us on the Coast Life couch. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
I love the show too. I love it. I watch it all the time. I really do. I legit do. You know, people come on and they say, "Oh my God, I love your show. It's great," but they've never watched it. Like I watch it all the time. You know, you guys know I do a lot of work with Delmarva Life, and so I love watching both. You know, shows and how different they are in their own unique way. So
we've
so
learned
I'm
a lot
fan
from them and their tutelage.
I'm like starstruck right now.
He's fangirling right now, fanboying.
I am fanboy. I like that.
Well,
I like
Zeus,
that.
you have a really cool event coming up. This is the second year you guys have done Dining in the Dark with Benvenuto. Tell us what you can about this event.
So the cool thing about Dining in the Dark is that, you know, because you know, you hear the saying all the time, you eat with your eyes, right? So you have to kind of think of it this way, like take that away, right? So now you're not eating with your eyes. So you have to kind of use your other senses, right?
Got it.
So, you know, when a plate of food comes out, you look at it and you're like, wow, I'm about to like devour this thing.
This looks good.
So your sight kind of sets up, you know, what's about to go down, right? But when you can't see what you're eating or drinking, you know, you have to really rely on the other senses, which is your taste, your sense of smell, and try to figure things out. And it was very interesting. Last year when we did it, after each course, it's actually a pairing. So you're going to have a plate of food that's put in front of you, and there's going to be some type of beverage that's going to complement that dish. Now remember, you're going into a room that's completely dark, and you're also wearing blindfold. All right. So
I was going to ask, like, how in the dark are we?
So these people are very trusting.
Yes, and you have to be, and you have to be a little bit adventurous, right? Because it's not for everyone. It's probably not for me.
Really?
Yes, because I kind of like to see what I'm eating, you know?
You know what it makes me think of? It's kind of scary, like the late shows when they reach their hands in the box and they can't see what's in there touching
Yes.
it. Is it the same thing?
It's very similar, yes. That's really good, because yes, it's very similar to that. But you know, our servers are very tentative. They're going to let you know when your plate's in front of you, where your drink is, so they can see. They'll have their vision goggles on, their night vision goggles, so they see what's going on.
Oh my gosh,
So
this
cool.
is fun.
Yes.
I almost want to just like sit in the corner and watch so that you can see all the behind the scenes, because this seems so interesting.
Absolutely. So don't do anything like in the dark, because somebody's going to be watching you. But yes, so we do 5 courses.
Nice.
Right. So it's pretty cool. And you know, we don't want to go like completely like, you know, like, yes, you know, we're not going to serve you sea urchin or, you know, or sweetbreads or, you know, something crazy like cow's tongue or something.
Right.
Because not everybody wants that. If you're really adventurous, then that's something different. But
you want to know you're taking on that adventure.
yes, but it's so funny because we get a lot of our guests will call and they say, hey, what's the menu for that night? Well, it defeats the whole purpose, right? Because, I mean, you know, you want to guess. So after every course, we kind of, you know, just turn the lights up a little bit. I come out, and that's the time for you to take your blindfolds off, and then I speak after every course, right?
Nice.
And then I explain what the course was. And it's funny because last year, a lot of people didn't know what they had.
I bet.
Wait, that's what that was? And they're all laughing at each table. Oh my God, you almost had it. I thought it was this. I thought it was chicken, right? You know, and it's like, no, it was lobster, whatever. So it's really cool. But again, to be able to sit and eat something and drink something and try to guess what it is and just seeing how well those flavors pair together, it's a really cool experience.
Well, they probably learned that, wow, I didn't know I liked that, or I didn't know you could pair those things, and I like that, but now I do. Since
Absolutely.
You explained this for me.
It's fun. It really is a lot of fun, and it's cool if you want to go out maybe on a date, or if you want to get a group of friends together. You know, it's definitely a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend coming out.
For sure. Well, Zeus, I know a lot of people are very intrigued. They're going to want to check this out. So talk to us about tickets, when, where, because this is coming up.
You can just, you know, go onto our website. You can, you know, follow us on social media, you know, Benvenuto Restaurant. We're right here in Milford. But we have a lot of cool events that, you know, that we do. We have our wine events that we do, and we usually run those every month. During the winter months, we slow down a little bit. We pump the brakes on it, but those are amazing. It's always 5 courses paired with 5 amazing wines. I mean, it's so much fun, and those sell out every month. And we've been doing those for 4 years now.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
well, we know and trust the deliciousness of the blind menu that you can't see for dining in the dark, but we're actually going to taste a couple of the treats that you guys have at Benvenuto that everybody can see and enjoy. So we're going to get to that. Zeus is staying right there. We'll be right back. COASTLIFE, before the break, if you've got adventurous taste buds, I know we piqued your interest with the Dining in the Dark event going on at Benvenuto, but if you're less adventurous and you like to see the food before you try it, Zeus didn't go anywhere. He's still sitting on the COASTLIFE couch, and you have prepared these beautiful, stunning cheesecakes that you see before us. I mean, even just looking at the plating, they look fake, Lauren said.
I picked the perfect day to co-host with.
Right?
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here.
So what we do is, you know, we try to change up our desserts as much as possible, and try to somewhat stay seasonal with the flavors. And so like during the fall, we offer a pumpkin cheesecake, which we still do have. We're offering it for a little bit longer. But this is our knockout dessert. It's a cheesecake, and we make the most amazing sauce with, you know, we get blackberries and blueberries from Jersey. We have some nice cherries in here. We make this amazing compote. The cheesecake itself, it's so rich, it's so dense, that we actually have to add a little bit more crumb to it. So some of the crust is then kind of crushed down, and that's what you have here. But it's, you know, I feel that, you know, berries and lemon are, you know, lobster to butter, right?
Yes.
So you have to have, I always do fresh lemon zest on this right before it goes out.
I'm drooling.
I know, I was saying, Lauren and I keep inching closer and closer to the cheesecake.
And look, if we had smell-o-vision yet, my goodness, it would, and you can smell it in here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They're going to be smelling it downstairs. And it's
They're going to be
getting
jealous
it.
downstairs. That's what they're going to be.
They are. But I'm telling you, there's just
Sorry,
something.
Coast TV News at 5.
Right? And you know, so again, it's, you know, with the senses, we were talking about earlier about dining in the dark, it's very interesting because, you know, you're going to eat this now, but you kind of already know what you're going to be eating.
That's true.
I'll tell you this, last year, the dessert was a salted caramel cannoli.
Oh.
Right?
Stop.
Yes. So I did that for a reason, because now you're eating it, you don't know what it is, but you're tasting salt, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then it was afterwards when you
so
reveal.
you're a trickster with it.
Yes,
Fine.
yes, absolutely. But look, you
Gotta get in there next
guys
year.
have to try this, all right?
Okay.
And just
Don't threaten me with a good time.
yes, we did bring you guys some forks. Yes. And just wait till you try that lemon zest and what it does. It's so good.
Are we supposed to pick up some of this crumb too? Is
If
that
you
kinda-
want, you can. If not, you can go back for it
I know,
later.
I just want all this.
A little bit of.
Wow.
That's bomb, isn't it?
Zeus,
It's good.
You're never leaving, just so you know.
Do you have more? Bring more just next week.
Right. We can do that.
I mean, you're right. The little bit of tang from the lemon zest, the sweetness with the berries. It really is that lobster to butter connection that you're talking about. I mean, this
And
is
the cheesecake is so
perfect-
smooth.
Yes,
It is.
and it's not overpoweringly rich. It's just like this is the perfect. You have to leave room for dessert when you go to Benvenuto because you're going to be
Maybe
so
have it first.
disappointed if you don't have room for this.
That's a good point. And that's what I do. I'm all joking aside. I eat dessert first.
You do?
Always.
That's the solution.
Yeah, always. That's the only way there's going to be room is by eating it first.
So how long can people get this cheesecake? Is this seasonal?
It is, but I mean, we just try to do different things with it, you know, different toppings. Look, if you want to turn this into a peach cheesecake, you can, you know. I mean, the sky's the limit on what you can do. There's so many flavors out there, so many different combinations, but it is a really, really good cheesecake.
Very good.
Yes.
Very
so
decadent.
good.
I like it.
And actually the little added crunch with the extra crust is such a good, like it just, everything about this.
Yeah, it serves a purpose, you know, and I believe that everything that goes on a plate has to have some sort of purpose, you know, not just kind of being on there.
No,
you
I
know?
think this is the most perfect cheesecake I've ever met.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you're reading this in the dark.
I would. So
It would still be perfect, I think. But
Do you get like a bib or something? Do you get a napkin in your lap? Because I feel
No
like I would be
bibs.
making a huge mess and dining in the dark.
Yes. And we actually do use a special plate that,
Okay.
that makes it easy for you. So it's called our float plate.
I love this.
Yes, which has
Everything's thought out.
Yeah, it's a very wide rim with a smaller center, so it's easy for you to kind of get into it and not make a mess of yourself. you know.
Perfect. That's what I
Especially
like
when
to
the lights
hear.
come back on. right?
Yes, right? Like, I know that Valentine's Day is also coming up. You guys, are
Yes.
you doing anything for Valentine's Day too? For
Absolutely,
maybe
we
people
are.
who are interested?
Yes, we are. Thank you for asking. So we are running our Valentine's Day menu, but we are booked.
I bet.
Valentine's Day, just like many of your favorite restaurants out
Yes.
there. So what we're doing is we're actually going to run the Valentine's menu from the 9th through the 17th.
Oh, nice.
Right. So check this out. This is something that's very interesting. What we're doing. So if you decide to come in for the day before and the day after, now the 13th, that's my birthday.
Oh,
right?
fun.
So my middle name's Valentino. Right. So if you come in on the 13th or the 15th, which is Poncho's birthday, that's Lisa's husband, the owner. All right. We're actually going to be doing these giveaways. All right. So you have to come in on the 13th or the 15th. All right, to receive this special. I mean, trust me. Look, I can just go ahead and say it. All right, you're going to be entered, and we're going to pick 2 winners, and it's going to be for an amazing dinner at Benvenuto. And actually, I'll sit with you for dinner. So I'm not only going to prepare the dinner, we're actually going to
Well,
sit
that's the
down
best part.
together. Yes,
To
it's
get
going to
to
be
hang out with you.
awesome. Yes, it is. I'm actually a lot of fun.
You are.
believe it
It's so
or
much
not.
fun.
So yeah, so if you can't get in on the 14th, obviously we're going to run that menu, from Friday to the following Saturday, the 17th. So you can still have Valentine's Day even if it's not on Valentine's Day.
Great.
Perfect. Absolutely. All right. I just got that little kick of the basil, and I'm like, it just keeps getting better.
It does.
Well, Zeus, thank you so much for coming in. Tell us about dining in the dark, serving us this amazing, wonderful, perfect cheesecake, the most perfect cheesecake in the world. We'll never forget this. And people can always check out Benvenuto in Milford. It's definitely a dining experience, whether you're dining in the dark or just a regular dining experience.
Yes,
You're never going to forget that either. But we do have a little bit more Coast Life to get to. We're going to be talking about what's coming up on Sunday when Coast Life gets back. Coast Life, we love this segment, Spill the Tea, where we get to spill our gossip as well as some delicious tea, all thanks to our friends at the Spice and Tea Exchange. And we thought it would be kind of fun late in your afternoon just to get a little gossipy, We know that weddings always come with a lot of drama, so that's what we're going to be spilling today. But before we get to that, Lauren, tell us what tea we're going to be drinking.
So this is blueberry black tea. A black tea from Yunnan, China is mixed with luscious blueberries for a bold flavor combination. Delicious, served hot, or makes for a stunning iced tea.
Nice. That does sound like it would be a really good iced tea. We're sticking with kind of the blueberry theme. We just had Zeus in with that cheesecake, so I had blueberries on the brain. So that's the one that we went with. And again, you can find all of this, the tea set at Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. So Lauren, why don't you get to pouring, and I will get to spilling our gossip today. So we had a story that somebody wrote into us talking about how they were at a phone-free wedding. So no cell phones involved. Everybody had to leave it, either in their purse, in their bag, not on hand, because, they just didn't want anybody distracted. They want everybody to be in the moment. So the person who wrote into us said that they had noticed that their sister had called them like 70 times. And so they're like, emergency. So they checked their phone. And as it turns out, their mother had been in an accident. Mom's okay. It was just a concussion, but she was glad that she checked her phone, and somebody at the wedding had spotted her on her phone and was like, hey, bride, this person's on their phone. And the bride was really overreacting, is like, oh my gosh, I said no phones. And the person who was writing in says that, this person she viewed as a sister, as a best friend, somebody that they've loved their whole life. And this has really caused a rift between them. So I think they're still fighting. The person who wrote in, their family said that, they're saying you're right for checking the phone in an emergency situation like that. So where are you at?
Well, and I understand the whole not having the phones during the ceremony, right? And I think the point in that, though, Leah, is so that you're not like this and all of the photographers' pictures that they're taking of you. Let them get the main moments.
Yes.
But I think having your phone on you in case of emergency. I mean, even now, if I attend a wedding, I'm a mom. I like to have my phone on me in case whoever is watching my son needs me for anything, right? It's emergency. You could step out, nicely and take it or whatever. Yeah. But obviously, I would want to know if something was wrong with one of my family members. She didn't have it out. She wasn't out taking pictures. She answered a call that obviously had there was a lot going on that she needed to be present for at that moment.
And this person, she said she wasn't a bridesmaid, so she wasn't part of the ceremony or reception. She was a guest. She was a guest and a very good friend. And so, I almost want to say, it sucks because it sounds like the bride isn't as good of a friend to the person who wrote in as the person who wrote in is to the bride. And, unfortunately, we kind of talked about those hard lessons that you get learning as you grow up earlier in the show. And it's one of the hardest ones, but it is one of the ones that you do end up learning is that, not everybody values a friendship the same way.
That's 100% accurate. And I think as you get older and go through things in life, you get married yourself and you have kids or you move away and you kind of tack on some more life experiences and things like that. You distance yourself from people and that's fine, and some friends stay friends, but I feel like you're learning a lot of different lessons and your friend group may change over a while and that's okay.
Yeah, so I hope that maybe just some time to cool down, some time apart, the bride will come around into knowing and understanding. I feel like anybody should understand if there's an emergency, there's an emergency, and there's really nothing you can do about that. So I feel like for me, this one's kind of a no-brainer. But let's give our little tea here a try because it always comes out very hot. But so we'll be careful. But it smells so good. Yum. Oh, I could see how this would be a banging iced tea.
It goes really. This would complement the cheesecake so well.
Yes, this has just been the best day ever. This has been a great episode of Coast Life when it comes to treats and food and pairings.
Yes.
So yes, this blueberry black tea, you can find it at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. Don't forget, if there's any tea that you want us to spill, you can send us a message. You can always email us team@coastlife.com. You can also check out our website and check it out there. But we have a little bit more Coast Life to get to, so stay right there. You're not going to want to miss it.
Spill the Tea was brought to you by the Spice and Tea Exchange of Rehoboth.
Coast Life, I forgot to mention when we started the show, you may have noticed my hair looks a little different, a little fresher.
I love it. It looks fabulous.
Thank you. That's because you know it. I went to Rehoboth Beauty Boutique, saw Jonava and her team. They are just so nice, so fun, so welcoming as soon as you walk in the door. And the best part, I think, about Jonava and her team is that sometimes Jonava knows what you need before you do. Like, she did my hair, and then she'll kind of Facebook stalk me a little bit here and there, and she's like, actually, maybe you need this. And but I appreciate that because, I'm sitting here thinking yeah, I love it. It looks great. And then she's like, we could do better. Let's get back in here. So she'll really work with you until you've achieved the final look that you want. For sure.
I like that. And as a hairstylist, she does lots of hair, right? Lots of people hair. But I like that she was catering to you. She knew what you needed.
She did. She knew what I needed before I knew it. Something else that's coming up, we love celebrating local events, local organizations. Special Olympics Delaware has their polar bear plunge on Sunday. And Lauren, You're going to be jumping.
I'm so excited. Last year, I got to go with Outdoors Delmarva. I was just like their camera gal, you know. And I used to do the plunge years ago, but now this year they're like, okay, well, since you're actually with Outdoors Delmarva now, you have to plunge in the water. And I know you're plunging too, Leah.
Yes. Well, so I'm plunging. Paige refused. Maya refused. So I'm like, dang, we're 0 for 2.
But we can hang out. We got
Lauren is going to be plunging with us.
We're taking a GoPro.
That's right. Yes.
Go all the way in. You got to get your hair wet. I think that's the rule.
That's our unofficial rule anyway. I don't think that's a Special Olympics
Well, your hair looks too good right now, so don't.
Yeah, right now. But by Sunday, it'll be all right. We can sacrifice anything for Special Olympics Delaware, really. I mean, I know we've talked about it a couple times this week, but I think it's important to reemphasize that because of the Delaware chapter specifically raises so much money, and Polar Bear Plunge is their biggest fundraiser, the athletes with Special Olympics Delaware don't have to pay for any of the camps or sports or games that they end up playing. And I just think that's awesome.
That's awesome. And you raise a bunch of money and you just get to be crazy and run into the frigid waters of the ocean.
So if that sounds good to you, we'll see you on Sunday. If it doesn't, you can still make a donation. You can still participate if you appreciate the organization that is Special Olympics Delaware, but you don't want to run into the water. So that's okay too. It is about time though for us to get on out of here. Have a great of your day. We'll see you tomorrow for Friday, finally. But Coast TV News at 5 takes it from here.